Hopefully this time I can do only one book per video. I don't know. I put grease in my hair, but my shit's still so fucking itchy. And this braid right here is like the skinniest braid I have ever seen. Anyway, First Impressions is the first book that's not a sequel that ends up on the good book list. It goes above Dragon Assassin. It wasn't that bad. I'm not going to read the rest of them only because I read the descriptions of the other books. And, nah, I don't really care. Uh, it's the first book in the Faded Wings series by C.R. Jane. And it came out in 2018, and the genre is paranormal romance. Um, I need to get more standalone novels, I have discovered. Everything that's a series is so up in the air of if it's going to be good or not. And then what if the first one's good, but the next one isn't? Or what if like the first three are good and the fourth one isn't? Like some people Watchtower series. Anyway. So Damon has been alive forever and his shit sucks. He's super lonely. Eva is forced to stay in the attic. Her shit sucks. She's basically like Harry. Her hair never stays cut. Injuries, while painful, don't leave a mark. And her foster parents believe she's possessed by the devil because her dad is a creep. They hid a letter from Rothmore College from her. Reverend Darby wants to see her. She's not allowed to leave the house though. She got to escape because college. She escapes by stealing money and buying a bus ticket to New York. And I almost wanted to read the other ones to know what became of her parents, but I don't want to deal with the romance to read the rest of it. People in New York are nice to her because she's pretty, like magically so because she's pretty. And Damon's face was in the acceptance letter, so she keeps thinking of him. Eva was given a scholarship, which is how she's able to afford college. She meets Eric, who's flirty, but Eva is awkward. She doesn't want to talk about her past. Damon sees Eva and knows she's a goddess from his dreams. She's the goddess from his dreams. And literally, and he wants her. She's not awkward with Damon. Damon's being nice. Eva wants to pay for herself and stuff, even though he doesn't know it. Hesitation. What? Eva wants to pay for her own stuff, and he doesn't know her situation sucks, but Damon is paying for everything because it's chill. Eric is being gross and possessive. Damon was having sex with this girl named Selena, who's captain of the squad, and she's very possessive of Damon. I also kind of want to know what happened with that, but again, I don't want to deal with the romance, because this also, as it turns out, I think it might also be a harem book. Not excited. That was a very creepy smile, and I apologize. Anyway, Lexi seems like a real friend. Laura is mad at Eva for stealing Eric, even though Eva doesn't want him. Some other guy named Mason wants her now. Eva is comfortable, but gets dragged out with the rest of the squad and Mason. Eva finds out about Damon and Selena. Someone tell this child she's a goddess, please. Why can't anyone ever... Like, I get that it would make the story a little bit shorter. This is going to be another 2-book video. I get that it would make it a little bit shorter, but why can't anyone just give direct answers? Although sometimes, as I've discovered, when you give direct answers, the protagonist doesn't believe you, and then it's just a bunch of bullshit for a couple hundred pages. Damon and Mason are brothers, which makes it even weirder that Mason wants her. Mason takes her to the Grammys and then some cliffhanger. Some actor calls her a queen and she faints. It's a perfectly fine book. Eva's fine, an abused girl trying to create a life for herself. Why does everybody gotta be abused to get an emotional reaction out of people? I don't know who I want her to be with, but obviously not Eric because he's crazy. Mason comes off as creepy and cocky. Damon is kind of cool. How did Eva end up where she was and no one seems to know about her? Because, Damon doesn't know who she is, and he's been seeing her in his dreams. He wasn't, called to her or anything. And Mason doesn't know who she is. We don't even get any indication that Mason's been dreaming about a person. And that actor at the end called her a queen. If she's a queen, why don't you people know where she is? Yeah. Cliffhanger is good. A good cliffhanger, in my opinion, should shock, frustrate, entice, or all three. As long as it leads you to the next book, success. It's a pleasant change from the other books. This braid is really starting to bug me. All the crazy shit would bug me if they were human, but they aren't. Like taking someone to the Grammys. I don't think you can just show up with your random date to the Grammys. Um, yeah. The next book is on the wouldn't read again list, but the only reason it's on the wouldn't read again list is because I was so fucking bored, much like with the anime. This book is called Another Note: The Los Angeles BB Murder Cases by Nice Niso Isin. Yeah, from 2006, and it's about a murder that Elle dealt with before before the Death Note. Yeah, fans of the Death Note series would likely enjoy this book. I can't see anybody outside of the Death Note series liking this. The narrator is Mello, and from his point of view, he's dead. No, yeah, he's dead. Elle's dead. Everybody dead, including Light. So I guess he's telling this from I think he's telling this from heaven or something, or I guess hell. I don't know. Where do people who are killed in the Death Note go? Do they still go to heaven? I don't think that's ever specified. He says that the only person who's gonna read it is Nier. Um, the murders were unusual for Elle since only 3 or 4 people were killed before he got involved, and he doesn't usually get involved before 10 people have been killed. It's also the first case where Elle worked using the name Ryuzaki. Naomi Misora. She worked for the FBI, and she was, I believe she's in the anime. She helped Elle solve a case, and I think she died during that, but this is where he first worked with her. Elle contacts her about the BB case and gives her a brief description and all the names of the people who've been killed. Also, the reason I know when this book takes place for Mello is because it talks about how Misa is carrying on Light's plan to be Kira and all that shit. How Nier didn't catch her as well, I have no fucking clue. The victims have nothing in common besides being locked in a room when they were killed, and Wada Ningyo wooden dolls nailed to the walls. One less doll for every murder, and the murders feel like someone trying something new, because every murder is different. Naomi isn't very much a fan of Elle, then again, who is? Elle wants her to discover what everyone is missing, because everyone's missing something. And Naomi thinks he's putting too much stock in her. For some reason, the socially awkward bastard was hiding under the bed. He uses Ryuzaki and doesn't tell her exactly who he is, even after the Kira incident, which killed her. She doesn't think she'd ever met Elle, even though she had. I don't think she meets Elle in this, but I'm pretty sure she meets him, but she just doesn't know because Elle's got so many fucking aliases and shit. They figure out the message on the first victim, spelled the name of the second victim. I got really bored by this point. Only reason that I liked Girl in the Spider, because Girl in the Spiders, no, not Girl in the Spiders, I'm currently reading that. The only reason I liked Girl in the Dragon Tattoo is because that book was it was also a mystery, but that book was fucking wild. I didn't know, I had so many theories, I didn't know what was going on. BB attacks Misora, but he doesn't intend to kill her. Naomi isn't solving the case. Elle is, Naomi's just following him. BB has the eyes of a Shinigami. If you are unaware of what the eyes of a Shinigami does, because like most people, you stopped watching that show because Misa was fucking ridiculous, or you stopped watching with the 9 episodes where he erased his memory and did some sort of switchy thing with the books. The eyes of a Shinigami allow you to see when someone is going to die, allows you to see their death day. I don't think you can interrupt it with the death note. At least BB implies that you kind of can't. I think he's killing people who already are going to die by fate. If you think too hard about the death note and the Shinigami eyes, it just gets all fucky. It also allows you to see a person's real name. At least in the anime, that's all it allowed you to do. You could only see a person's real name. But BB was somehow born with the fucking eyes. But whatever. Elle wouldn't know, have a theory as to how BB did any of this until a few years later when he started interacting with the Death Note. BB just has the eyes for some reason. He was also in Whammy's house and was the second child from A, because Whammy was trying to replace Elle, and each child, for some reason, he decided that they were going to all use letters. Fuck. And BB wanted to surpass Elle. Yeah. Okay. For a clearer explanation, I'm just going to read what I wrote. For those who don't remember, Whammy's house was set up by Watari in the event of L's death so a child, a literal child, could replace him. A couldn't handle it. The first child was A. B is our killer. Near and Mello were the closest to L ever, like at all. But as long as L was there, B could never be anything more than a copy. And they solve it, and B was pretending to be Ryuzaki, like the person that I said that Naomi met. That was actually BB. Okay. It wouldn't work in the anime because if he looks like L, why wouldn't the viewers assume that that's just L? Mello's commentary on L is a lot more interesting than anything in the fucking story, which I don't think is a good thing. I wasn't super shocked by the twist, if you could call it that. I was just really bored. I guess I'm not as into Death Note as I thought I was. Someone being born with the eyes is more annoying than the eraser that they had in the pilot manga. Like there in the pilot, if you don't know, in the pilot manga of Death Note, there was an eraser where you could erase the person's name and they would come back to life, which ruins the entire fucking point of Death Note. But anyway, I love most of the anime, not Misa, and not that 9 to 12 episodes where you had no memory. It was weird. In novel forms, it just reads like another mystery. Like, at least in the show, like, we know in the show that Light is Kira, and we're watching L try to figure that out, and watching Light try to be smarter than he actually is. I like the concept of Whammy's house. I just don't like that it's children. uh, like, you raise these children to replace the world's best detective, and that's a lot to live up for. And they could either they could either succeed and be lonely and stressed for the rest of their lives, or they could fail and thousands of people could die. Like, your life is shaped by a shadow and an alias. Like, because no one except for Watari knows who L is. So that's awful. Yeah. Okay.